making her way to the ring from your darkest fears, the Russian Gladiator. Mercedes
Mone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here down at ringside, our fifth match of the week. It's Masha Slamovich and Mercedes Mone. Of course, Masha, the current GCW World Champion, and Mercedes Mone, as we have talked about throughout the episode tonight, unfortunately reported to have broken her ankle over the weekend at New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong in the tournament finals against Willow Nightingale. So once again, we send our speedy wishes for recovery out there to Mercedes Mone. But here at Fantasy Warfare, she's tipped up. She's 100%. We already fixed that broken ankle. And she's in here against the GCW World Champion, Masha Slamovich. Of course, Masha's been tearing up the wrestling world as of late, defeating the deathmatch legend himself, Nick Gage, to become the GCW World Champion to begin with, and having kicked off a dominant reign as champion thus far for the GCW brand. Of course, Mercedes Mone is having her challenges in New Japan Pro Wrestling, having a brief run as a women's champion before losing the title, and then before she could snag herself another piece of gold, as we've noted, broke her ankle. But here this week, it's a battle for bragging rights between these two. And Masha looking to take those bragging rights seriously, sending Mercedes Mone down at ringside, stomping on her face. That's brutal. The guardrail kind of blocking things a little bit, so we can't really see all the impact of those kicks to the face. But Masha laying it in on the skull of Mercedes Mone. Masha soaking in the cheers of the crowd here at the Fantasy Warfare Arena here this week. Loud and rowdy audience each and every week here on Fantasy Warfare. A rowdy audience on YouTube, rowdy everywhere. We've got rowdy fans all over the place. We couldn't do it all without you. So quick thanks to our audience of Fantasy Warfare, as Mercedes Mone is looking to say thanks to Masha for finally taking her boot off of her throat. Masha mounting Mercedes Mone with a series of punches here, just clubbing down without mercy. Rolling her over into the cover. Referee is there. We get a count, and we only get one. Barely had a chance to settle into that, even being a pinfall before Mercedes was kicking out of that, but Masha right back into the driver's seat, not letting Mercedes catch her breath or get back up. And as I say that, she does exactly that, and Mercedes makes her pay, pulling the feet out from underneath Masha, face first into the turnbuckle, followed up with that DDT. And now Mercedes kind of rubbing it in Masha's face. And thankfully for her, it does not come back to bite her as she's able to drop Masha to her knees with a knee to the stomach. Cranking away at the neck before whipping her backwards onto the mat. Mercedes locks up. Oh, short arm. Eat defeat by Masha on Mercedes. Oh, nice jumping knee by Masha. Continuing to drive home that cranial trauma. She's just been beating on the skull of Mercedes Mone almost since the opening bell of this contest. Mercedes Mone might need her a brain scan after this one. That's okay, it's fantasy warfare. We have the technology. We'll stem cell her or something, whatever. We can do whatever we want here. It's fantasy warfare. Apparently we can't hit drop kicks in fantasy warfare though, because Mercedes Mone whiffed on that one big time. She didn't whiff on that one though. Masha dropped back down with a knee to the gut one more time. Mercedes continuing to have a dominant run here over Masha Slamovich here. Big victory it would be to defeat the GCW World Champion. Sure, it might be fantasy warfare, but all the same, a win is a win, man. A win is a win. Mercedes taking that moment to pose. Big time mistake. Masha clubs her right in the lower spine. She falls, but then Masha makes a similar error. And Mercedes looks to make her pay with an Irish whip that sends her over the top rope and down to the floor. Masha back in the ring. Irish whip, short arm, knee to the midsection again by Mercedes. Irish whip, catches her with the drop kick this time. Mercedes had to make up for that last one. She whiffed big time on. Going for a neck breaker. Straight jacket style. Into the neck breaker, followed with the cover. Pinned by Mercedes, only a count of 2. We got a bank statement. The money statement. Income statement. Mercedes Mone lock. I don't even know what she calls it these days. I should look that up, but she's got it locked in, whatever it is. But Mercedes is not able to get Masha to tap out. Masha breaks the hold, and this match will continue. Irish whip sends her off the ropes. Nice drop kick to the knees, taking the legs out from underneath Mercedes Mone. She kicked her leg right out of her leg. Nice maneuver there by Masha into the cover. Referee in great position to look at those shoulders and only getting a count of 2 as Mercedes able to power through and kick out before the referee came down for the count of 3. Mercedes rolling out to the floor to catch herself a breather, but Masha following her to the floor. And this fight continues, but Masha spending too much time with the primal screams. Maybe she spent a little too much time watching that Saraya match earlier on tonight and thought maybe, hey, I'll get some screams in myself. That one felt good. Not as good as that one earlier, but, you know, still felt all right. Masha recovering on the floor. Mercedes breaks the count to go back out to the floor. Referee will reset on that one as Mercedes with a suplex across the guardrail, driving Masha ribs first into the guardrail, following it up with a hard forearm shot. Into the guardrail again goes Mercedes Mone. Or excuse me, Masha Slamovich. Masha posing on the floor. Mercedes writhing in pain in the ring. Masha re-entering the ring. She gets met with a clothesline and a second one. Catching the boot. Sweeping the leg. Down goes Masha Slamovich as Mercedes Mone is feeling the momentum. She gets kicked back by Masha though. Nice counter by the GCW World Champion. Uh-oh. Oh, 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 ow, and ow. I imagine that has got to be what Mercedes kind of sounded like there as she was having her sternum kicked in. Oh! Brutal, brutal brain buster. This could be all for Mercedes after that. And it is. super duper shallow brain buster is what it takes as Masha Slamovich gets the victory over Mercedes Mone in a highly competitive contest here this week in Fantasy Warfare. But coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, will be our main event of the week. It will be a Hell in a Cell match between the current AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter and the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Our main event of Fantasy Warfare is coming up next, so don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be right back.